Hello guys, welcome to part 2 of the How Wim Hof Method Changed My Life series. My name is Merrill Cushman and I'm a Wim Hof Method instructor. And if you missed it, check out part 1 of this 3-part series, How the Wim Hof Method Changed My Life. Where we left off is I was rolling, I was in college, and then COVID hit. We'll kind of start from there and explain in this chapter how I ended up finding Wim Hof, 2 really pivotal moments that ended up being forced changes of growth when I accepted, and how I ended up getting some more momentum. It's March of 2020, pandemic hit. I recently was starting to get some momentum with a girl I really liked, and she ended up having to go to New Jersey. I was in kind of my Zen dojo apartment, and I used this time to meditate more, to get grounded more as the world shut off, and I even learned more about Zen philosophy. It was about April now of 2020, and I was in Tampa at the time, and I felt called to go back home to Boston to be with my family. My intention was like, first time in my life, I'm extremely happy. I'm like, I'm gonna go back home and I'm just gonna keep this thing going. I had an internship at a television station, and I was doing a documentary series highlighting health, wellness, mindfulness. I was also taking a life coach certification at the time, so I'm like, yo, this is great, perfect time. Come around July or August, I had some old behaviors start to come up. I was feeling more and more detached from this girl I really liked, and at the time I was very attached to her. This was a new paradigm for me. So that attachment led to discomfort and unassurance. I also was still paying rent down in Tampa, so this financial security and this worry also created more anxiety. And also, being back home, being from your environment, my mental health was starting to be triggered again. I was reacting a lot, following old behaviors, and come July, reached a point where I remember I was like losing control. I remember being on my deck, pacing back and forth, and having chest pains, and like my throat felt like it was throbbing, and I remember not being able to think straight. I remember one time I was actually out in the yard. I was cleaning up like leaves and sticks, and I put on an old podcast I recorded, and I was hearing myself talk about all these concepts that I thought I knew. And here I was a couple months later down the line, completely opposite of that. Completely depressed, anxious, now even more disconnected from this reality of what I thought I was gonna be. And I'm listening to this guy, I'm like, yo, I'm an imposter to this guy. I don't even recognize him. I'm such a shell of myself. And this just created, again, it's like you see like the feedback loop of the mind, just reaffirming this addiction to suffering. Finally came August, and I'm at a very low point. I was just basically trying to numb myself. I remember I'd sleep in super late. Come August, and that girl at the time was not even interested in me anymore. Now I'm a month into even more depression, anxiety. And I was on vacation with my family, and I ended up smoking a joint to just escape my reality. So I smoked this joint, ended up walking up to my room, and I decided to go on YouTube to just numb myself. So keep in mind, I'm pretty high, so everything on YouTube now is super interesting. I'm super zoned in, and I'm actually present for once. So I'm going on YouTube. I don't know if it was the algorithm or what, but I came across a video of Wim Hof, and I felt called to watch it. I clicked it, and here's this guy who's climbing the highest mountains in the world. He's going to the most beautiful rivers. He's full of life, full of energy. He's so interesting, and he's talking about this method, how you can do the breathing, the ice, and how it's helping you with your mental health, give me more energy, more life, even more serious health conditions people were dealing with that it didn't really resonate in my story at the time, but I was more, yo, this can help me mentally. And keep in mind, this guy was going to the most beautiful parts of nature, implementing his lifestyle. Yo, this guy's cool. I'd love to travel and do this sometime. So that night, downloaded the app, did the breathing method. First time, guys, in months. First time in months. I felt calm, I felt connected, I felt energized, I felt clear. For every single day, I tell you what, every single day leading up to that point for months, there was never an intrusive thought that didn't come to me. There was never a moment where I wasn't like feeling super ramped up. I could be on a beach, guys, beautiful beach coastline, and all I was thinking about was my problems, not even being present. This was a light bulb that went on my head, and it was all in my own control. So this was a great turning point for me, and I also started doing cold showers. I remember going online and watching an instructor locally in my area. He was going into the cold rivers, and I was super inspired, and I started taking cold showers too. However, this was just me dabbling in the method, meaning I was using it very sparingly. I was still stuck in my own story. I was not really committed at the time. I would use it very experimentally or when I really needed a boost, but this wasn't something that was a habit. It wasn't a practice yet. So come some time and I was doing okay, but not the best. Now come in the fall now, again, dabbling in it, not feeling the full benefits, still stuck. I ended up coming across this ad, which also relates to Wim Hof in some ways. I came across this ad of this incredible man named Tim Hahn, Success Insider. This was in November of 2020. And at the time I'm taking online courses, online school, and I'm still stuck. And his ad just really resonated with me. I ended up signing up for his program, took his 6-week developmental course. And by December, I was really implementing his teachings. I say this because sometimes the road can lead you to other teachers that can bring you back to where you belong. I suggest being open to everything. If you feel a draw to it, answer the call, make that investment and do the work. Tim and his teachings, Tim Hahn, he really sparked me up, and I ended up going back to Tampa in January for my final semester at the University of South Florida. I had this newfound energy, and I was actually, because I had a shift in mindset, I was starting to do the Wim Hof Method a little bit more and more. Like I would be doing the breathing sessions maybe 3 to 5 days a week and doing the cold showers every morning. And this, along with my mindset, was really propelling me. I started the Cushman expedition on Instagram. It was a little bit of what it was now, but I was just trying to try it out. But I felt inspired. I felt the call to the hero again. Fast forward, I had a great semester and graduated in May of 2021. It came full circle again where I graduated in May, right? I feel like I'm on a high point, but I still hadn't healed a lot, and I'm continuing to heal a lot and let go of a lot. But at that point, I still had not overcome a lot of my limitations. So as I graduated, I'm like, I need a job. I need to support myself. I didn't want to go back home. I ended up getting a job for Amazon, just driving for myself. And I had like 2 other side hustles, online sales, which I was like really bad at. But I learned a lot. Here I am. I moved to a new apartment close to campus. As the months go on, I'm talking July, August, September, October, November. Slowly and slowly, I stopped doing the breathing. I stopped doing the cold showers. I stopped doing Tim's trainings. And then I got this feeling of overwhelm. I'm like, holy crap. I feel like my mind is going all the time. I feel like I'm working 6 days a week. I'm not making as much money as I thought I would. I got in this like just overwhelmed sense of state. And it led up to the point of December where I was back to my familiar self. I couldn't think straight. I had brain fog. I'm gonna be a failure. Now I'm back. Oh, great. I'm back. Going into the new year, so winter break, if you want to call it that, going into January, ended up flying home for the holidays to spend Christmas with my family. We ended up going on a ski trip over a long weekend. This was the first time where I had time off from my work. We were in this hotel. I just used this hotel to just wallow in my misery because I was like away from my work. And I just felt all the internal pain I was feeling with my mental health and low self-esteem. Again, who am I? I just remember being super depressed and sleeping in literally half the day. I'd go to bed at like 9 o'clock, wake up at like 5 in the morning, go back to sleep for another 4 hours, even though I didn't need it. Because I had nothing else to do. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, I just wanna sleep here. There was one day though at the hotel, I went to the pool area, and I'm in Vermont in the States. Vermont is, at the time, there's snow everywhere outside, beautiful ski mountain country. And I go to their inside pool area, and there they have like a sauna, they have a indoor pool, they have a hot tub, a gym. So I'm like, all right, let me just go there. I go there, go in the pool for a little bit, I then go in the hot tub. While I'm in the hot tub, it was very funny because I was in this very comfortable hot tub, chilling, relaxing. And I look outside, and outside, what during the summertime would be a beautiful patio with woods around it, was now covered in 4 feet of snow. And I'm just looking at it through the window. And there was an emergency exit door there. And I'm in my hot tub, I'm looking out at the door, and I'm thinking to myself, Wim Hof, what if I were to just get outside of this hot tub, walk out the door, and immerse myself in the snow for like maybe 2 minutes or a minute? It's so funny how we always have these thoughts of, hey bro, just continue to meditate, or go outside, take that cold shower. And then our familiar body will respond like, no bro, You feel horrible. You don't need to do that. The body becomes the mind, for instance. And at that time, I was in this hot tub. My body was really comfortable. Like, no, man, you can chill, bro. Like, dude, you'll never do that. And I didn't end up taking action on it. But what if I did? What if I did end up taking action on it? You know, that could have changed my state that day. Who knows? Moral of the story, I didn't go outside, but it did lay an imprint of the next 2 weeks of what would happen. I ended up flying back to Tampa after that vacation. Now I'm back in Tampa. My problems are the same. I'm the same person. And I ended up staying with a friend for 2 weeks. I didn't even want to go back to my old apartment because think about this, guys. When I went into my old apartment, I had these similar emotions of suffering and felt like a very dark place. I didn't want to go there. What I'm doing is I ended up staying with a good friend who lived in the city in Tampa in his guest room. So he was very gracious and he helped support me a little bit. So I remember one day, he went off to work and I had the place to myself and I ended up taking some Adderall. I say this story because it's very ironic from what I know now about the breathing and the cold. So I took the Adderall and I'm on Adderall. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, what am I doing in my life? Who am I? And again, I'm literally on the toilet, like just wasting my life away. And as my feet are going numb on the toilet, watching my phone scrolling, I'm on YouTube and I see this video of this instructor basically doing the same thing I'm doing now, explaining his story, how I became an instructor. And I'm just resonating with this guy. I'm like, damn, a lot of my story and struggles, like I feel in him. And look where he's at now. He's a Wim Hof instructor. He's been able to travel with his work, help people, and he's super strong, healthy, and happy. Man, what if I were to really commit to this? Who would I become? And people may resonate with this. You reach a point where you're completely spent. You're done. You're done suffering. And you can either like, all right, well, I can continue to do this, or I can accept the call for an adventure and go change my reality, and actually go on this quest to become the best version of myself that I can be. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm committing. I got the app open again. I'm like, you know what? All right, breathing every single morning, cold shower every single morning as well. That was my staple. And you know what's cool too is I had an intention. With the Wim Hof Method, I used that energy and clarity in the morning, and it gave me newfound insight and inspiration to also try other modalities that I always wanted to but never had to. For instance, I'm also a big student of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. Dr. Joe Dispenza is a lot of titles, but how I summarize his work is it's breaking the habit of being yourself, understanding the mind-body connection, the things that keep leading you in the past, whether it's familiar habits or behaviors, but then also it's the idea of mental rehearsal through meditation, through visualization. Who do I want to be today? How can I feel into my future and then act upon what that person is? The idea is to allow your intention to come to you. I've studied his work for a while. I've never really done the meditations before. So I'm like, let's do it. Who can I become if I combine Wim Hof, breathing, cold exposure, mindset, with meditations in the morning with Dr. Joe Dispenza? And at this point, guys, I just erupted. I became obsessed. From January to March, I completely immersed myself in these two teachers. Keep in mind, I was driving Amazon. One of the things I liked about it for this purpose was all I did was when I was driving, delivering packages, I put in my headphones, I downloaded everything I could find on Spotify and YouTube on Wim Hof and Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I just immersed myself into these guys' works. I started just catching myself like, oh, nope, that's you thinking in the past. Nope, try again. I started putting reminders in my phone every 2 hours, every hour. And I would stop what I was doing and I would connect to this future person I wanted to become. And you know what's funny too is I mentioned the Adderall story, right? I mentioned that because, well, specifically the cold shower, right? Or cold plunge, as I have right here. They found a neurotransmitter and a hormone called norepinephrine, noradrenaline, was released. And this is a neurotransmitter, meaning more focus, clarity brought about, because I guess the neurons can connect faster. And it's also a hormone, meaning it ignites more adrenaline, which in safe amounts is really healthy for you. Like you have more energy, right? It's not a state of survival, but we can use this short-term stressor to our benefit. But noradrenaline is the same neurotransmitter that is used by these pharmaceutical medications. I don't know if Adderall is a medication, but it's it's like a pill, right? So I'm like, holy crap, you're telling me I can be focus, feel better, and be present naturally if I just meditated, cold showers, and breathing. All the answers within me, right? Come March, and I reached these points where I'd be in my van and I would feel, because I was getting better while I was practicing, I was reaching these states of utter euphoria where I would close my eyes and connect and get rushes of inspiration, energy. I would literally feel like rushes down my spine. And that's when I knew I was starting to really change. And it came to the point where my intention for my dream job, that was my intention, to manifest a really good job so I could leave. And it's less about getting the job, it's more about becoming that person. So I would align myself to the emotions of, I want to feel abundant, joyous, loving, grateful. And I knew that in Dr. Joe's work, the job would come to me. So after some time, my friend went on a travel trip with this company, and it was the day before my birthday, guys. And he calls me, he's like, bro, you should apply to this job. And I knew that that was a sign that I should look at it. This is an educational travel company that works with educators and teachers in high schools and middle schools. They find the best educational itinerary for their school, for their classroom, for their language, whatever it is. You're telling me that I could maybe help teachers impact their students' lives and be able to travel as well sometimes, sell experiences? Like, for me at the time, a dream job. And it fit a lot of the intentions I had on my vision board connected to Dr. Joe's work. So instantly I applied to that. The next day, on my birthday, guys, I got an interview. Like, hey, interview tomorrow, let's go. Next day, on 4 hours of sleep, it was so funny, but I did the breathing and the cold shower, so I felt a lot better. I had 4 interviews in one day. Later that day, they hired me. And then God or spirit, whatever you want to call it, fate, destiny, actually had me move back up to Boston. And here I was. I've now, through all this work I was doing myself internally, you could see how a shift in mindset, a shift in vision, a clear goal that I had, resulting in not only what I desired, but at this point, guys, within 3 months, I completely expanded to this person I always wanted to be. And I'm still evolving today. There's so much amazing stuff that I can't wait to unveil myself. But more importantly, guys, as I wrap this up, I started to embody, to the best of my ability, these things I've been reading for years. I started not just doing something for a couple weeks and just letting it go, or a couple days. I saw through consistent practice what something can really do for yourself. So if you're watching this, and even if you don't want to commit to the Wim Hof Method or commit to another thing, I ask you to give yourself the chance, whatever that is, to go fully in. Give yourself even a month to see what you can get out of something. And then I feel like if you reach that month threshold, keep going, keep it going. Completely changed my life, and it's still changing my life. And I'll tell you what, Wim Hof, bro, he's a genius. And we'll get into more of how I learned later of why I wanted to become an instructor and how the Wim Hof Method really catapulted me even more, even after more commitment with this method. And in the next video, I'll get into what inspired me to become an instructor, how Wim Hof led me to travel the world, and ultimately, I'm at a state now where I can teach people the same thing. Thank you guys for watching. If you feel like this video resonated with you or it could help someone, share with a friend, like, subscribe. I got some really cool adventures coming up, and I can't wait to document more of my journey. And guys, let's create the life we love, right? We only got one life, and we only got one day. Then we know we're alive. So let's make the best out of it. Cheers, guys.
Build the life of my dreams. Why wait?